And we're live. Hi guys. My name is Headcrab, also known as Christian, also known as Punter Spell, also known as whatever. I really don't care. And this is going to be my Decktech live, crazy, of my Ezuri Renegade leader. We play an elf ball, baby. So essentially, what this is it's a higher end of mid power, bordering on high power, um, elf ball strategy deck. And I am gonna run it over for you. So here's what we got. So let us start with our dorks. Dorks are super important to our strategy. We have our Priest of Tegan, we have our Savala Heart of the Wild, we have our Llanowar tribe, an Incubation Druid, a Leaf Gilder, an Elvish Mystic, Karametra's Alkalite, Arbor Elf, Llanowar Elves, Boreal Druid, Llanowar Visionary, Lauren the Nurturer, and Elvish Arch Druid. So what do dorks do for our strategy? Well, they get us a lot of mana really, really quick. And our initial and end game goal here is to close out the game most likely with combat. There's no infinites in this deck. There's nothing crazy like that. There's crazy, but there's not that crazy. Using Ezuri's ability to overrun, we will usually dump a ton of mana into that and proceed to try and win with that. So yeah, dorks are super important. They're also bodies, so at the end of the game, smash, smash, smash. There you go. Following suit on dorks, another very, very important aspect to this deck is lords. We are only running 3. You will find that I have a lot of pump effects running rampant through this deck. So it seems like a low number, but overall in the end, I'm going to be dumping a ton of elves on the table, and it will work itself out. So our dorks are Adaptive Automaton, doing Guilt Leaf Doing. It's kind of an odd card. And Elvish Arch Druid, who also fits the bill as a dork, adding a green mana for each elf we control. Very good. All right. So I have all the subsections here. And one of my important things, considering how many dorks we have in this deck, is our untap category. So I could be running a lot more efficient artifacts for this. Like Sword of the Prunes, this and that. Again, I'm not trying to lean too heavy into doing the high power thing. I'm not trying to get infinite mana and just win on turn 3. I'm trying to have fun with elves. So, Great Oak Guardian, untap all creatures. They get +2/+2 until the turn. Flash, very nice. 6 mana, kind of expensive, but not terrible. Vitalize, 1 green mana, untap all creatures you control. Very good. Copperhorn Scout, whenever he attacks, untap all creatures you control. Also very good. Yeah, it keeps my dorks dorking, and it's a good way to make sure I have that consistency with that, which is very good. Next, scoot over to removal, shall we? I'm not running a ton of it. Running Nature's Claim, Crossing Grip, and Beast Within. Sometimes getting that instant speed removal for that artifact or enchantment that's going to win the game, super relevant. Beast Within is just a classic. Get rid of anything that could potentially win the game. Or it's just annoying. Who wants that Smothering Tide or that Nekusar or that, I don't know, fucking Soul Ring. Kidding. But yeah, super important. Not a lot of removal, but not really the case in point of this deck here. Okay, let's scoot over to card draw. So you'll notice this is a little bit more potent. Card draw is super good to make sure the consistency of the deck stays up. You'll see a few oddball things like mana doublers. So notable nightly, it technically isn't card draw. You have to pay 4 mana, 3 mana into her effect um, to reveal creatures and potentially get them into your hand. Sometimes paying 3 mana for a card, not the worst, especially when you're making this much mana as it is. And the ability to dump non-creatures, very good. And also the cost reduction, super nice. All of our creatures are really cheap anyways, but sometimes getting a little bit more, can't argue with that. Elvish Visionary, classic, 2 mana draw card. Simple as it is. Regal Force. When it ETBs, draw a card for each green creature I control. I am running 2 non-green creatures in this whole deck. So typically draws me quite a lot, especially with how many elves I have. Beast Whisper, very good card. Whenever I cast a creature spell, I draw a card. So he's an elf too, so fits theme. Very nice. This is kind of a pet card of mine, but it's very nice in this deck, especially. It's very nice in a creature-centric deck. So Slate of Ancestry, 4-mana artifact where you pay for it, tap it. So you discard your hand. Not great, but if you have a handful of lands or nothing that's going to help you, okay. You draw a card for each creature you control. So if you have a board state of 10 plus creatures, it's fantastic. It's a little situational, but it's not an awful card. Zendikar Resurgent, super good. Doubles up my mana. Very good. 7 mana effect. But also, whenever I cast a creature spell, draw a card. So it's, it's got the same thing Beast Whisper's got going on with that, which I can't really disagree with. It's a good effect. And we got Primordial Sage and Soul of the Harvest. This is when it enters the battlefield. This is when it casts. These are both non-token type stuff. Just draws a bunch of cards. Similar mana costs. You'll find that a lot of the card draw is typically a little bit more expensive, excluding Beast Whisperer. So, yeah, card draw. Okay, moving on. I do not have a ton of interaction outside of removal. Heroic Intervention is just sort of my closeout, protect my board for a board wipe, this or that. Again, not running a ton of it, not super the point, but you gotta run something, right? All right. Next topic we will go to is tutors. I'm not running every tutor under the sun. I'm running 3 tutors, which may seem excessive, but not quite. We have Worldly Tutor, classic. Tutor a creature target to the top of my library. We have Primal Command. Search for a creature card. Target player gains 7 life. Put target non-creature permanent on top of its owner's library. Target player shuffles their graveyard into the library. You can choose 2 of those. This is pseudo removal because it puts it on top of the library, so that's kind of cool. So usually I'll go for a tutor and that, or if I need to get stuff back into my library, there you go. Fierce Empath, tutor specifically creatures 6 CMC or greater. A lot of our card draw, a lot of our stuff like that fits in that category. So super nice, especially for like late game, grab a creature I need. Now we are moving on to ramp. Ramp. So I've included some like mana doublers in here. I'm only running 2 in the deck, Zendikar Resurgent and Nyx Bloom Ancient. Nyx Bloom Ancient's just super good. It makes Ezuri a lot more consistent. It's also a 5 trampler. Who's gonna eat that? I'm going to start here with Bear Umbra. This is basically half of Sword of Feast and Famine. And it also gives protection on a creature, which is nice, in the form of Tone Armor. Gives the enchanted creature +2/+2, and whenever it attacks, untap all lands. Funny enough, with Ezuri's trigger, you could move to a combat, swing, and then just have all that mana available to use into his pump effect. So super good at both just giving you more mana and with Ezuri specifically, making it so you're enabled to do that ability a lot more. New card, A Shy Soul of the Wild. This turns all of my creatures into Dryad Arbors and makes herself as big as the amount of lands I control. Notable something like this, it would untap all creatures I control. So, say if I have a bunch of dorks or something like that, I would untap all my dorks and this and that. So, very, very cool. Nixgloom Ancient, previously mentioned. He basically makes it so any source that would tap for mana taps for triple that. Gets very good with my Elvish Archdruids, my Priest of Titanias, hell, even my Land War Tribes, because 3 for 9 is pretty good. Realm Seekers. So this is kind of slower, but it can be a massive, massive, massive elf. It enters with the number of +1/+1 counters equal to the number of cards in everyone's hand. That is including you, your opponents, everybody. And it has an ability for 1 in the green to remove counters from it to search for basics. So, or is it basics? Search for land cards in general. Reliquary Tower. Not running it currently, but things like Gaia's Cradle, even I'm running Mutavault. So, things of that nature. Really, really neat utility card. 6 mana, but Springbloom Druid. It's kind of like a hero. It is a hero on a creature. Enters the battlefield, sacrifice a land, search for 2 basic lands. Tapped, ramp, it's nice. What else? Gets you a forest card. Soul Ring, classic of the genre. 1 for 2. It's just nice. Next Lotus, super nice. Counts your devotion, and typically I'm running a lot of small things, so my devotion can go from 1 to 7 really quick. So, good card. Burgeoning. Whenever an opponent plays a land, you can put a land card from your hand to the battlefield. Super good at ramping you. If you start out with this in turn 1 and have 4 lands in hand, you're going to be at an immense advantage by the time it gets back to you. Kadama's Reach, Skyshroud Claim. Gets a basic to hand and basic to field tapped. Gets 2 forests to field. You may be asking why not run Cultivate. Well, I feel at this point I'm running quite a lot of ramp, so I feel any more would be kind of unnecessary. But yeah, very nice. Planeswalkers. I'm only running 2 currently. I want to run this World Shaper, I think. World something. Very good. She untaps 4 forests, but Garrick is also very good. +1, untap 2 lands. When you have things like Ashaya out, untapping your dorks because their lands is just super good. Similar with Nissa, making forest tap for 1 more, and then if I can get that ultimate, getting all the forests in my deck, just super spicy. Yeah. Just 2 are the better ones I could run. Moving on, we have our general creature category. So these are a bunch of elves. Frontier Guy could fit into ramp category too. Taps to get basics. So kind of missed that one, but that's okay. You got your Rex Ages, you got your life gains, you got your you got some semi-removal, some stuff like there. I may have missed, but yeah, general elves help put it all together and makes it work out. So yeah. And then our second to last category, I call this Closeout. We are a combat-centric deck, so at the end of the day, we're going to have to smash face. Things like Genesis Wave, dumping a ton of mana into that 15 plus, usually will put us in the game-winning board state. And even if we're hitting 7 lands off of this, it's still good because we're getting an activation of Ezuri, so super nice. Triumph for the Hordes, classic, +1/+1, trample infect. Could turn a board state of 1/1s into something that's lethal, so crazy card. Beastmaster's Ascension. So when you attack, if you have 7 or more quest counters on this, or was it? Yeah, quest counters. Your creatures get +5/+5. So if you typically would swing with a board state of 7 or more, instant +5/+5, very good. But honestly, just swinging, you are able to swing, one at a time, combat for combat, if you so would wish. But very good closeout cards. Turn 1/1s, 6/6s, sign me up. Crashing Drawbridge. This is my Concordant Crossroads substitute. Gives all creatures haste for 2 mana. Super good. When I get a Concordant Crossroads, probably going in here, probably replacing this, but in the meantime, good replacement. This makes it so I can profitably swing into things and boost up my guys quite a bit. Vigor is amazing. If I would mill Vigor or it's destroyed or anything like that, shuffles back into my library, so just super nice. Puts +1/+1 counters equal to the damage that we dealt to my creatures, and I prevent that damage when they swing. Notable, it's not Vigor himself, but everything else. Coat of Arms. Super classic for a lot of tribal decks. This card can bite you in the butt so hard. So if you do not have a game-winning board state, I highly recommend not playing it. Typically, I would not. I don't even run this in my Goblin deck. But the backup I'm able to provide with things like Ezuri make me a little less worrisome to do it. But great card, but can really bite you. And yeah, with all of that, I think we're just on to lands. I'm not running a lot of non-basics in this deck. I'm running a handful. And some of them aren't even super necessary. And things like Tranquil Thicket is non-basic. Cycling's okay, but all it does is draw me a single card. 4 non-basics. Reliquary Tower. No max hand size. Good when I start drawing a bunch of cards. Path of Ancestry. When I'm casting elves, I get the Scribes. It's very nice. Mutavault. It's a creature land, so pay 1 mana, make it a 2/2 with all creature types. So another elf on board. Nothing to sneer at. And like I said before, Tranquil Thicket, cycle, draw a card. So if I'm desperate, I can get that extra bit of card draw. And I think aside from that, I'm running 31 lands, I want to say. Oh, I also have Wire Lodge. How can I forget? Pay 1 green to untap target elf. Great with mana dorks, things of that nature. Super, super nice. So yeah, this is my Ezuri Renegade Leader deck. I've had a lot of luck with this deck. I find that the consistency and the amount of creatures I can dump onto a board so quickly and the amount I can ramp off of those creatures, it's just insane. I'm a big, big, big fan of goblins and goblin decks. I have a Muxus deck that if things go well, we'll be doing a Decktech on as well. And I will say that if there's one thing I enjoy, it's consistency and huge board states, and especially tribal decks and Magic. So if you are a fan of all of those types of things too, give Ezuri a try. Give Elf Ball a try. There's a lot of great options for commanders for elves. You've got Marwyn the Nurturer. You've got the Simic Ezuri, Claw of Progress. You've got a lot of things like that. So, don't be shy. Give it a shot. Ton of fun. But anyways, thank you for watching. My name has been Christian /Ponderspell /Headcrab, and I'm glad you could stop by. Thanks.